Now, I'm going to sit there and show you how to do pickled fish. What I have here on my saucepan, I have 4 cups of vinegar, 3 cups of water, and now we're going to be adding 3 cups of canning salt. We're going to bring this all up to a boil, and then we're going to bring it back down to room temperature. I'm sorry I didn't show me adding the vinegar and the water, but I did catch it in time so we can add the salt. I'm going to bring this all up to a boil, and we're going to dissolve all that canning salt. Let our brine cool down to room temperature, and as you see, all of our salt has not dissolved. That's okay because there's only so much salt that can be displaced amongst water. The rest of the salt is going to be going into our fish and stuff and help preserving it. That is what makes the preservation of the herring that we're making help preserve the fish. So I'm going to sit there. I have one of my big old gallon canning jars here. I'm going to go to my refrigerator. I'm going to grab the chunked up Cisco that my son sliced up into little bite-sized pieces for me, and we're going to sit there and go ahead, put the chunked up Cisco, because that's what we're making this batch of pickled fish with. We're going to put that all into this canning jar, and then we're going to sit there and put the brining solution over the fish. I'll be back when I pull out the fish from the refrigerator and when we're adding it to the jar here. But there is all the Cisco that my son has chunked up into little bite-sized pieces, and now we're just going to sit there and add all of them to this larger jar. Well, folks, when you tell your kid to cut stuff up for you and put it in a jar, let me tell you, my kid really packed this jar of fish for me. So it's going to be a little bit until I get this all unpacked out of here. Alright, let's just give this one more last stir. I'm just going to move this up a little bit to give me a little bit of room for when I am. Okay, now I'm just going to sit there and give this all a good little stir. Now, we let this sit in this brining solution for 2 to 4 days. So, I'll see you in 2 to 4 days. Off to the refrigerator, this goes to go and cure. Okay, now I'm going to sit there and take the brined herring, or pickled fish is what some of you might be calling it. In my household, we're going to be calling it herring, so you call it whatever you want. But anyways, we're going to take this over to the sink, and we're going to rinse this, and then I'm going to let it sit in some water for at least 10 minutes, and then I'm going to dump that out, and then I'm going to rinse it some more, and then I'm going to let it sit for another 10 minutes, and then we'll go on from there. Alright, as you see here, I have the pickled fish now soaking in fresh water, and I'm going to allow this to soak for 10 minutes. I'm going to dump this out, rinse them all off, and I'm going to soak them all over again for another 10 minutes, and then rinse them, and I'll be back to do the next little session. Alright, while our pickled fish is sitting there rinsing off and getting some of that excess salt out, let's go ahead and tell you the rest of the list of ingredients that we're going to be needing, and I'm going to be putting it in the same vessel as what I was sitting there soaking these in the salt brine. You're going to be needing some white vinegar. I have in the measuring cup here. You're going to be needing some water. You're going to be needing some sugar. You're going to be needing a Riesling wine. You're going to be needing some dill seed. You're going to be also needing pickling spices, and I'm going with the red sliced onions. So now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to mix up the pickling spice, and like I said, I'm going to be doing it in the same vessel as what we were saying to soaking the fish in the salt brine with. So let's go ahead, and add the vinegar, the water, the sugar, the pickling spices, let's grab the mustard seed and let's add that as well. Whoa, and I just made it. And now I'm just gonna have my husband open up the bottle of wine for us, and we'll add that. All right, let's go ahead and let's add the wine. And it looks like that's for the chef. And now I'm going to sit there and go get a spatula so we can stir this all up. I'm going to sit there and also put in just a few of the red onions to start with. So you can do your onions as well. That's what I want to start with. And now I'm going to grab my spatula. Oops. I'm sorry if I knocked the camera. Okay, we're going to sit there and let everything inside here meld all together. I'm going to go rinse off my fish for another 10 minutes of soaking in fresh, clean water. Okay, we drained and we rinsed them for the second time, and now let's just add them back into our vessel here and get them all nice and tasty for us. So I gotta reach around the camera, and I'm just gonna put some of the fish back into the brine here. And then as I'm filling it up, I'm also gonna add some more of the red onion along the way. So I'm gonna grab some more red onion. Okay, I'm just gonna sit there and go ahead and just lightly push these all down in the brine and kind of mix up the red onion and the fish that I just put in there. Now I'm gonna sit there, go ahead. I'm gonna add some more fish. And add some more red onion. And Booger, you asked me a question. Yes, I do fish, but I did not fish for these. My husband and my sons fished for these. I'm just turning them into what they all requested that I do with the fish. So, there I go. I hope I answered one of your questions. Okay, now I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to add the rest of my red onions all to this pickled fish here. And now I'm going to just finish off with the fish in the bowl. And then we're going to give it another good stir with our spatula. Oops. And there again. I am so notorious for sitting there bumping the camera, and it looks like I might have to sit there and make up some more of this pickling brine, but that's okay. That's no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna mix up some more of the pickling brine with the wine here, the sugar, the pickling spices, the vinegar, the water, and whatnot. So I'll see you after I make up another brine. Alright, I mixed up some more of the brine, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it right into the container. And of course, I'm making a mess as usual. And now I'm just gonna give this all a good little zhuzh, making sure that all my fish is down underneath the brine. Now folks, please let this sit for at least 2 weeks. Trust me, it's going to be well worth the wait. And it's going to be just as good as the store-bought herring that we're all known to buy. So now, if you like what you saw here today, give me a big old thumbs up. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel.